Alright guys, this is a little late, but this is for Wednesday. So this is a video about me. So you guys can get to understand me a little bit better. I have an older brother, older sister. I'm the youngest, obviously. 3 kids, single mom, in the 80s and 90s. So we grew up in that time where we were go outside, don't come back in until the street lights come on. So that's the way it was when I was a kid. I did something wrong. I got my butt tore up with belt, switch. I'm not talking about a light switch either. You went outside and took a branch off a tree and you got your butt whooped with that branch. That's a switch. So, yeah. Nintendos came out when I was a kid. I played the original Ataris. You know, I was around when Apple computers came out, the original Microsoft Apple computers. I think I was in 4th or 5th grade when they came out. 6th grade, the school got some, and we started playing around on them then. And you had floppy disks. And then it went to hard disks, then it went to CDs. So, been around the block with that stuff. Never appealed to me. For whatever reason. I wish I would have got into it more. Never did. Fast forward to 98, 99. Studied martial arts. The way I learned is if I stood in the way of somebody punching, it was my fault for getting hit. My teacher was ex-military, and there was a lot of times we actually got hit in class. So we learned on a concrete floor with no padding, and we went outside in the rain and did our stuff. We did stuff in the sand, asphalt, gravel, went out in the woods, did our stuff. I mean, he took us in all different environments. So we knew what it would feel like to fight in those areas. In my opinion, that was the best teaching that you could ever learn. We were taught, and I studied Aikido with a lot of other stuff mixed into it, so it's not just Aikido. And if anybody's wondering what Aikido is, basically it's using momentum against your opponent that's coming in your direction with 45-degree circular rotations. It's the best way to describe it. So it was some good stuff. I still use it today. If there was a dire emergency, that would be my primary base of fighting. So, but anyway, yes, I've had to use it in my after leaving that class, I've had to use it several times. I've been jumped. I've had knives pulled on me. I've had guns shoved in my face. I've been through some things where I had to use it. So I'm glad I learned it. A friend of mine told me that let's back up just a hair. I say I'm a better man for learning some of the stuff I've learned and going through some of the stuff I went through. When I was a kid, lived in a gang-infested neighborhood. The only white family in a 6-block radius. I was the initiation. I've got a floating rib due to a beatdown I took when I was younger. And if you don't know what a floating rib is, that is where the bone gets damaged to where it stops growing. So it didn't connect to the breastbone. So it's basically just floating there. Yes, it does move. Yes, it presses on the lung from time to time. And it is not fun. So I have to pay attention to that. Separated my knee when I was a kid. So there was that. In the martial art class, I got my left shoulder dislocated. So, but a friend of mine got in touch with me and he asked me, how have I been doing? I said, I'm doing great. He's like, I don't understand how you can be doing great with all the stuff you've been through. I said, it's real simple. It's in my past. I have a better future where I'm at. And he's like, that's a good way to look at things. He said, if I could go back in time and change things, would I? I said, no. He said, why? I said, because without the aches and pains, without the stuff that's happened to me, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't change a thing. The only thing I would want to change is I would come to Illinois and find my wife sooner. That's the only difference I would make. So, me and my wife met in 2002. Went on one date. I never left her house. We got married in 2004. In 2003, I got hit by a van in a restaurant parking lot, put a thigh impression in back of that, and walked away from it. So, all I can chalk that up to is God had his hand on me in that one. In a few little scrapes I've been through. God has protected me. That's all I can say. I grew up in a Baptist church in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I have when I was a kid, I saw, like 6th grade, I knew something was up because Ronald Reagan was president, and he was walking around waving to everybody in New York, I think it was, maybe in Chicago, and he got shot by a lady. And then his policy started changing. That told me something was wrong back then, and I was a kid. So these things have been going on for so long that people are thinking this is just something that's been going on the last decade. No, this has been going on before I was born. When I was a kid, I could walk up to a cop, pull on his pant leg, and ask him for directions to home. Today, that kid would be, they'd try to bring him up on charges for assaulting an officer. That's how messed up our world is right now. And that is a very dangerous thing. You know, especially when we don't hold people in power accountable. I've been seeing a lot of horrible things over the years. Over the past 4 decades I've been alive. And there for a long time I just stopped praying, stopped talking to God, because it seemed like it was pointless and useless. And I realized I was wrong for that. All those things that I've been through, God had his hand on me, protecting me. So, no matter how messed up I am, physically, there's a reason for it. My honest to God belief. Like when I got hit in the head with a ram plate off a punch press, put me on the floor, and I've got permanent head damage from that. I have chronic migraines, balance issues, light sensitive eyes. When I have a migraine, a lot of times I am down for like a day and I don't even remember anything. My wife has told me it looks like a drunk man walking through her house, and I've woken up in the shower trying to relieve the pressure, fully dressed. So I don't know what I'm doing when I have those. So all I can say is God's helped me through a lot of stuff. And there's I don't remember the exact book in the Bible, but it says, God says, ask and you shall receive, as long as you are willing to believe. This is something I think we are all lacking. I know I was for a very long time. I came to God last year. I asked God to forgive me of all my sins. I said, I know I'm not worthy of your love. But as soon as I said that, there was a warm feeling that touched the top of my head and wrapped all the way down to my big toes while I was driving home from work. And it felt like I was being wrapped in a blanket. Best feeling I've ever had in my life. God has turned me away from a lot of things I used to do. I'm technically fasting right now. I don't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 8 o'clock at night. That's my eating time. 2 in the afternoon to 8 o'clock. That's a 6-hour window. Eventually, I'm going to shorten it. I break the fasting thing once a week. I try to anyway. Right now, I'm still trying to get a grip of it. But that's where I'm at right now. But this is just so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. The way I was raised. It wasn't sunshines and rainbows for me. I had an older brother that abused me. I mean, my mom did the best she could with us. Wasn't perfect. No household is. But, you know, all the things that was done to me turned me into the person I am today. So, thank God for that. But at the same time, the discipline that I received guided me in the right direction. And parents that can't discipline their kids, we have the problem we have today. If you think God is not disciplining you in some way, some form, you got a wake-up call to have. Because He will allow certain things to happen to wake you up. And that's what's going on. So guys, remember, you're not alone. You may think you had I think my life was a piece of cake compared to some of these other people. I tried to go in the military. I've only got one kidney. Can't go in the military. Those guys, especially the ones that have been maimed and dismembered, have it far worse than what I went through. I know some guys that are that was in the military and that is in the military, and my life was way worse than theirs. So, you know, everybody has their own story. And I'm not saying I'm anything special, because I am not. I am a normal guy working in security because I can't work in anywhere else because of the head injury that I have. And I ran across a truck driver that is a Christian as well, and he told me stop claiming it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, the reason you're having it is because you're claiming it. I was like, so it's like a ninjutsu thing. He's like, I don't know about that. Well, in ninjutsu, it's mental. If you get this is the demonstration that was given to me. Let's say you get shot in the shoulder. You tell yourself you're not going to bleed out until you're not going to bleed until you get to the hospital, into the operating room. Some people can actually get it to where they don't bleed very much. And as soon as they walk into the hospital, it starts gushing. Even nurses and doctors have seen this. So it's not just a BS theory. So it does happen. In ninjutsu, you train your body. The mind has to follow the body. The body has to cooperate with the mind. So if your mind is telling you there is no pain, then the nerve endings should settle down. But here's the catch. You don't tell yourself that one time and think it's going to happen. You have to keep repeating it. So, the way I'm understanding the Christian truck driver is that if I keep saying that I'm healed by God in all my prayers, I'll be healed by God. And I claim that. So, and stop saying that I have these head injuries, knee injury, shoulder injury, and all that stuff will be healed. So I'm working on that. So guys, please, try your best at what you do. Give it your all. If you fail, tell God to help you up. Dust yourself off and take another step forward. Okay? He'll get you there where you need to be. All right? So, you guys have a good night. Be safe. And remember, God loves you. And God bless you guys.